The New York Yankees had a bit of a disappointing season in 2023 with a record of 82 and 80. However, after a offseason filled with probably the biggest move, the biggest trade at the very least of the 2023-24 MLB offseason and trading for Juan Soto, the Yankees look to be back on track to try and push for a World Series. But what does the 2024 season look like for the Yankees? What will it look like? Well, we're going to discuss that here today. My name is Derek. I am here with Mike. You're watching Bleacher Brawls, and this is your New York Yankees team profile. So first things first with the Yankees, let's dive straight into their key players. Obviously, they have a lot of talent, some young, some veteran. They have a mix, right? But let's talk about some key players. So I'll go to Mike. Who are three key players for the Yankees, and out of those three, who's one do you think that will make an impact on the 2024 season for the Yankees?
I think the top key players have to be Judge, Soto, and Cole. Cole, I put up there. I think there's plenty you could have went with, but Cole, I think, is the most important out of the three because I think we know what we're gonna get from Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. Those guys were like born to swing a baseball bat. So I really don't have any worries that like they're gonna have a down year or anything like that. I think Garrett Cole needs to. I mean, we're not expecting him to be back-to-back Cy Young winners or anything like that, but just be in the conversation because I think if he's in the conversation, you have that ace like you did last year. This team can. I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. I know one pitcher is not going to win the World Series, but it's a really good start, and I think that's my biggest fear is maybe Cole taking a step back and now those what we think is going to be a couple more wins, with his arm now gets diminished, and so I'm just looking for I think him to have a solid year.
Yeah, definitely. I think Cole's definitely a big piece for the Yankees. For me, obviously, I'm gonna go with a couple other guys. I'm gonna name Carlos Rodon and DJ LeMahieu. I think they are important for this Yankees team. But I feel like I have to touch on Juan Soto, especially too because when we get to offseason moves, I'm personally not going to touch on Juan Soto, so I want to talk about him now. Obviously, Juan Soto is amazing, right? I have been probably the biggest proponent on the Bleacher crew for Juan Soto and saying like this guy, like he's a star. Like I know the numbers maybe struggled a little bit in San Diego, very rough like home split. Like it was really like struggled at home, like struggled for Juan Soto standards. But on the road was the typical Juan Soto. He's really struggled in San Diego. Even when he was in the Nats, he struggled in San Diego. I think it might just be a ballpark thing. Pitcher's ballpark, maybe the batter's eye isn't good for him. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but he struggled in San Diego. He goes to New York, hitter-friendly park. He does have the short porch. Soto can drive the ball to the left field, which, maybe a little bit of concern. You don't want him to get pull happy because when Soto struggles, he does get a little pull happy. So, but if you can keep him from getting too pull happy, like he's gonna be amazing. My hot take last year was heading into the season where if there's anyone that's gonna ever put up like a 500 on base percentage, it's going to be Juan Soto because he draws so many walks because everyone's scared of him, and now he's in a hitter friendly ballpark. Like, watch out. So I think Soto's definitely like. I think Soto too also helps Judge because now you have the best 1-2 punch arguably in baseball. So I think getting Soto is super important for the Yankees. But continuing with players the Yankees acquired this offseason, obviously they traded for Juan Soto and Trent Grisham as well in the trade. Although they had to give up a lot: Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Johnny Burrito, Kyle Higashioka, Randy Vasquez. A lot to give up, but also you receive a really good player in Juan Soto. They also traded for Alex Verdugo. They signed Marcus Stroman to a 2-year deal. So I'll head over back to you, Mike. What is the offseason move that really stands out to you?
I mean, obviously it has to be the Soto trade. I mean, you're getting a world-class generational talent. I think I explained it on last week's midweek show that this dude's OPS is by far the best start to a career in baseball history. Dude's an incredible player, doesn't strike out. It's pretty much exactly what the Yankees needed this offseason is an outfielder who can follow up Judge. And then I think what's not being talked about enough is the Trent Grisham part of it. Is he's not going to wow anyone with his bat, but the dude's a multi-Gold Glove winner, and I think the Yankees really needed defensive help in the outfields department. So I think that's the move you got to go with. They address both outfield and pitching, which before the season we mentioned those are the two biggest things I think we need to put a statement on. So I'm happy with it. Love the Stroman trade. I think that'll do more for him in his career. Really, playing with the type of team the Yankees are going to be, going to have a lot of confidence, and if he starts stacking up wins, it's going to bode well for him years to come.
Definitely. I think that's definitely could look. I'm actually getting a little off the board here. Um, I think the kind of most key offseason move, and I think this says a lot about where the Yankees are looking at, but also about where they view this guy. The decision, and it still could happen, but it doesn't seem likely at all. The decision to not move Spencer Jones for a big piece. I think that they drafted him out of Vanderbilt. He's a massive left-handed outfielder. He's like Judge's size. He's like 6'7", like high 200 pounds. Whatnot. Like he's massive. Another just massive human being, right? But he is really good. And last year in the minor leagues, he played in high A for 100 games. He had a 114 weighted runs created plus in high A. Double A did get 17 games in Double A, was pretty solid there in Double A too for the short sample size, right? So I think more so the fact that Yankees aren't trading. You have Judge locked in long term. You have a Jason Dominguez, who I know is injured for 2024. Maybe he'll miss the whole year, maybe not, but he's there long term, right? And then you do have like an Everson Pereira. You have Trent Grisham's got 2 more years. He's got 2 years of team control. And the Yankees could very well sign Juan Soto long term, maybe. You never know, right? Probably wouldn't be until he hits free agency, but there's still a chance of him returning, right? So the fact that they aren't willing to trade Spencer Jones, and they view Spencer Jones that highly, where they don't want to move him for Corbin Burns, or who's now with the Orioles, or they didn't want to trade him for Dylan Cease. I think it speaks volumes to where the Yankees see Spencer Jones and how they view him and how they feel that he's an important piece of their future. Because in the Juan Soto deal, they traded a Michael King. They traded Drew Thorpe, right? Johnny Brito, who got some big league time, right? So they traded a lot of guys, and especially King and Thorpe, who a lot of people are very high on. And they traded both of them, and they brought in Juan Soto, who's on a 1-year deal, right? Trent Grisham too, 2-year deal, but they were willing to trade those guys. They weren't willing to trade Spencer Jones. So I think it speaks volumes to, like I said, to how they view Spencer Jones, and that they think he's a legitimate part of their future. So I think that's kind of a thing that and I know some of the beat writers have been talking about it a little bit recently, but I think that's, even before they started talking about it, I thought that was kind of like a little bit of a key thing there. But now that they're talking about it, I think it's totally fair to bring it up. Moving on to expectations for 2024. I mean, it's the Yankees, right? I mean, I think we kind of know what their expectations, but I'll go back to you, Mike, for you to confirm it. What are the expectations for the Yankees in 2024?
I think without saying the obvious, a World Series, 'cause I'm a Yankees fan, so I think that's my expectation. But I know Yankees' expectations could be a little more high expected. We expect to win a World Series every year. I will say, at very minimum, it's got to be a deep playoff run. Like you gotta be a World Series contender. If they lose to a really good team in the World Series or the round before, I think if nothing else, that really it's gonna make Juan Soto want to come back and maybe finish the job. I think it's gonna set them up for years to come. Obviously, winning World Series is the goal, but very minimum, be a contender, be in the mix, be right there in the late in October, and go from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the Yankees, you're the Yankees, they made, especially considering that move for Juan Soto they made, and he's only got 1 year, because you never know, he very well could leave in free agency. I think the expectation, especially from inside the Yankees building, is to win a World Series this year, and I think that's got to be the team's outlook from inside the building on the players and whatnot. That's got to be the coaches, the front office. That's the outlook. That's the expectation to win the World Series this year. Obviously, only one team wins, so only one team wins. 29 teams aren't winning the World Series. It's a lot more likely you're going to be one of the 29 than the one of one. But that is the expectation for the Yankees, and it makes sense. They're the Yankees, and especially with the payroll they have, and that's got to be the expectation. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up here for this Yankees team profile. Make sure to check out all our links in the description. Make sure to check out all our other team profiles. Yankees fans, let us know your thoughts in the comments on this Yankees team heading into 2024. And for Mike, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls and this New York Yankees team profile, and we will see you next time.